everyone, welcome back to StyleNovice. So as the obsessive compulsive list maker that I am who loves to organise anything and everything, I now have my weekly grocery and meal planning down to a fine art. So today I'm going to share with you my 8 tips for the weekly shop. Now the reason behind my method is I'm not a big fan of turning up at the supermarket and grabbing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and then coming to dinner time and being like, what can I make with this and what can I make with that? So step 1, every week I start off with a blank overview of the week, which includes 7 meal options across the top of the page, and then everything else we may need for the remainder of the week I break down into sections: breakfasts, lunch, things the kids may need, things the pets may need, household items, and I leave a couple of boxes spare in case there's any specific occasion or special items we may need that coming week. Step 2, I take a look at what is already in the pantry, already in the fridge, and try and base the coming week's meals around those existing items. So step 3, upon deciding on a meal, I'll write down every single ingredient that's needed to go into that dish. So that means if I'm making something like a cheese sauce, for example, you never forget about those small items like the flour and the butter. If I already have the items, I'll write it down still, but I'll cross it off, and you'll see why in step 6. So step 4 is making use of the new items that you do add to your grocery list. If I'm going to be buying a big bag of rice for the week, I make sure that I'm going to get more than one use out of it. So step 5 for me is I order all my groceries online. Now it may not be available where you live, but for me it makes life so much easier to make my order throughout the day when I have time and have my husband collect it on his way home from work. It's also so worth the small fee that it costs for someone else to do my shopping compared to trying to do the shopping with a toddler. The other benefits of doing my shopping online is that everything can be arranged almost like an auction site, so it can be arranged lowest price to highest price, and I can be sure, especially in the meat aisle that's really overwhelming in store, that I'm getting the best deal of the day. I can also go ahead and save previous shopping lists or favourite items that I purchase each and every week. So step 6, once the groceries do come home, I keep that list and I pop it up on the fridge for everyone to see. That way my husband knows exactly what's in the cupboard, exactly what's reserved for specific menu items, and exactly what he needs to make a specific meal if he's going to be cooking that evening. So step 7, and this is a handy one if you don't have access to online shopping, is to keep a little side list of things that you do order every week that you know you're going to be purchasing, and then things that you tend to forget about. So in our household it's things like light bulbs, baking items, things like bin liners. So last but not least, that brings us to my step number 8, which is to start a recipe reference book of your favourite go-to family meals, and that way it helps you switch things up every week when it comes to meal planning. So that's it, that's my 8 steps towards the weekly grocery and meal planning. To recap on any of the previous steps, I'll pop these up on my blog, which I'll link below. Happy shopping, and I'll see you next video.